Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. What you are about to witness is the absolute pinnacle of gaming YouTube. Nowhere on the planet will you find a better gaming YouTuber, I swear. And now, with your host, Jibba73, the DoubleEShow! Dude, can I have $5 now?
What's going on, everybody? Jibba73 back with the DoubleEShow. It's Banished Wednesday with Red Ketchup's Editor's Choice mod. So, in the process of recording this video, I actually didn't record the audio. So here we are talking about what I've done is I'm going to start a new industrial area over here. I'm going to use the fodder farmers for fuel. I've got the sand and brick, or sand and clay pits right there. So we're going to make I'm going to put the kiln and the glass maker over in this area once the bridge is complete. The objective here is to have a little bit more industrial on this side of the map. I've got some industrial in the center of town. What I'd like to do is move it over to here and then eventually remove it from the center of town and make the center of town more commerce, so more businesses and such. In the process of moving everything, I'm going to build it all first. I'm going to get it all set up. I'm going to get everybody living over in the area. And then I'm going to go into the town and move it. I step up the speed here so that way we can get some stuff built. I usually run it on 2x speed. You guys know that. So I also in this episode want to look at getting more greenhouses up and running so that way I can get more of the ale and wine trade going. And knowing full well that not all traders will take the ale and wine, but for the most part it's a good profit for minimal effort. I just produced the greenhouses produce the vegetables or fruits that are needed, and the ale houses make it without needing anything additional other than the food. They don't need firewood or any of that stuff. Also, so I put the cart in over here for the tools. I got the blacksmith. He's got a couple of stockpiles of the stuff that he needs to make his tools, and then I put the tool cart there so I could have somebody collecting up the tools that he makes rather than him having to walk and put it in storage. Just looking around here to make sure that I don't have any stockpiles out front, because I believe I did go in and remove them in the last episode. So this is a glass maker. I see that I'm a little low on either firewood or sand. Since I know I'm making plenty of sand, I check to make sure that I'm making firewood. Of course, you know, it makes sense. I got a trader that came in. I'm going to take a quick look here. I think what I'm looking for here is the lumber, yeah. So I've got plenty of lumber there, and then I forget what else I was looking at the list for. But yeah, I got plenty of lumber. I'm going to check here. They're making lumber from logs. I switch it for a second. I think I go back to, we'll see here in a second. No, I switch it to, yeah, no, I got them making, because I can always up the number of workers, and that's what I do there. I want one always making lumber. So that I have that to build the buildings that I'm laying out. The bridge is finished, so now they can start constructing the kiln and the glass maker over here. I got my stockpile there that should hold much of the goods, but I know I'm going to need more storage. They are working on building the woodcutter right there. The woodcutter is basically going to make firewood or fuel out of the fodder and thatch. So I come in here and I look, and there's my kiln, and I make sure that I lay it down right here, nice and center in the spot, so I can put some storage around it. So there's 2 on each side and 2 behind it. I back it off so that there's 1 in front and 1 behind. Want to make sure that it looks good in the area as well. Woodcutter finished in the meantime. Now I'm going to put the glass maker in on the other side. I love the models that Red Ketchup made with these. He just took everything and cleaned it up. So all the vanilla buildings are refashioned so they don't have the drooping roofs and they don't look so rustic. They look a little better constructed, which is nice. I like that. All right, so in here, you can see I'm making the firewood out of fodder and thatch. I'm going to put 1 person in there. No, I think I put 2. Yeah, I do. I put 2 people in there. And they'll make the the firewood from fodder and thatch, and my stockpile is getting pretty full, so I know I'm going to need more storage. I also know that I'm going to need some homes around here if I'm going to expand the industrial area to the side. Yeah. Looks good, though. Looks really good. Yep, so here I come and I look at the carts and I look to see what kind of material I'm going to need, and I think I'm looking for fuel is what I'm looking for. Textiles, minerals, fuel right there. And I want to make sure that I put somebody in to collect the fuel that he's making and put it right in that cart. And then the fuel can be grabbed as needed. If you notice, the road goes up underneath the bridge a little bit. It's a little bit poor planning. I hadn't originally intended to use this area, so I put that ginormous stockpile there, covered stockpile. So the road, they can still access it. They walk through the stockpile area to get over here, so it's no big deal. Which also looks pretty cool too, as the people walk through the stockpile. So, yep. So now I think I'm going to come in. I'm going to look for some storage and housing solutions. So first thing, storage. For the kiln, I think I'm looking at materials, so that way they can bring the clay over. Yeah, see, materials. So the materials to bring the clay over. For that, fabrics, materials, right there. So I'm going to put that in there. That guy will go get the clay and bring it back over to there. He'll also bring sand, but I'm going to put one across the way for sand for the glass maker. You know, hoping that they utilize it in that way. But they're going to bring any material over because that's what the vendor does. But, you know, it is what it is. I'm getting it laid out. I think now I go at... yeah, I believe I'm going to put some stockpiles down here as well. But not covered ones, just open-air stockpiles. And you'll see that here. Yeah, I'm just going to put some regular stockpiles down. And it's going to be the stuff that's needed, so more materials, but this is just for storage. So when the vendor isn't storing in the cart, going and getting the stuff for the cart, the stuff can be stored there as well. Now, I believe I also put in the finished product, which should be construction material. Yeah, it should be. Bricks are construction and glass is construction. So, yeah, I want to make sure and I did this one wrong. I made it 5x1 and I just stuck a 1x1 in instead of getting rid of it. I just stuck a 1x1 there. Yeah, it's 2 stockpiles, no big deal. Still going to get used. So I put the fuel stockpile in because the kiln does require fuel to make the bricks. It needs fuel and clay. So I just put a small fuel stockpile there. I believe it was 2x3, and I put 2x3 over there. So the kiln is ready. And as you can see, we're going to make clay from, or make bricks from clay and firewood. And I'm going to, oh yeah, there we go. I just populated the glass maker as well. And then materials cart. Put one more in, there you go. Now that'll cover both the materials carts that are there. And as you can see, the area is starting to take shape. You can see what's going on here. We're going from the digging of the raw materials up to the production of the end material, which is really cool. Now I got him making glassware. Glassware is going to be important because that's what we're using for the perfumery to make the perfume bottles, so that we can have more to trade. And yeah, now I believe I leave this area here. We'll see in a second. Yeah, I clear out. First of all, I'll clear out my working area. I don't want to clear out the area around it yet. What I want to do is put the houses down and then clear what I need to clear for the houses for their yardage and stuff. So I believe I come in and I plop a couple of houses down. We'll see here in a second. You notice I've kept the blacksmith up in the upper right-hand corner, and that was more so to keep track of the fact that they're making the copper alloy tools, and I've got 174 copper alloy tools in use, or in stock. because I don't think it's counting the 150 or so iron tools or rough tools that I had. I believe it's iron tools. I don't think I ever made the rough tools. Yeah, so here I'm looking for the housing I want to be in wood, not in brick over here. So, checking it out. And I go for the new medieval townhouses there. And I use I use the multi-story bottom in case I want to add on to them. But I use the first floor only in these first buildings I'm going to lay down here. And you can see that one's a lovely building. It really is. So there's first floor. And I'm going to lay this in a specific way so that I can get a backyard to it. So it's going to come one off the road. I think I go two. Yeah, I might. Oh, there you go. I go three off the road. There you go. So there's one there. And I'm going to come down to the other end and make sure it's one in off the back road and three back from the road. And there you go. So I got a couple of houses going in there. Really nice. Really nice. And by the way, using the wood makes it super easy because it's just lumber, glass, and those materials. Oh yeah, this is where I realized I should probably have somebody living at the living near the fuel maker. Which, by the way, I didn't realize at that point in time, but I had reached my fuel max. We'll see here in a second if I actually do notice it. I recorded this yesterday, and I realized today when I went to render it that I had no voiceover. Yeah, it's about par for the course. But you can see materials are already starting to get laid and near the working areas. It looks really, really sharp. I do wish there was another ground texture I could lay down. Not ghost squares, but another road texture that was grass or dirt other than the initial dirt road. Red Ketchup does have some beautiful brick style roads. But yeah, so put a little stockpile for his fire logs out back here. Because even though the cart is out front, I want him to just be able to drop it as well. And then the cart worker, the vendor, can go and pick it up. So these are this is where I talk a little bit about what I want to do for the greenhouses. So I showed you the 4 greenhouses there. And this one here I got doing corn. And it's making corn for the malt house. So I find that here in a second. Let's go over here. There's a malt house making malt from the corn, and the malt is then used to make ale. So here I'm going to decide whether or not I want. See, well, they're making corn from flour as well, or making flour from corn as well. But here's where I decide. I'm going to need to make plenty of these instead of just putting 2 of one kind and 2 of another and 2 of another. I'm going to need to put a nice grouping of the greenhouses down. It's going to be necessary. So now it's just a matter of figuring out how I want to lay this out. And I think I decide, yeah, right here you can see I decide to leave the space in between. Just for aesthetics. If trees grow up between, it's going to look good, but I don't recall, we'll see in a moment, I don't think I put a road up in between them. I just think I wrap a road around them. And now I'm looking over to this area to see, just trying to get an idea of whether or not, yeah. Oh, and this mysterious road, this was funky. So you can see there's a road there that's diagonal, yet, and they're using it, but it's not visible, which I found very odd. So I decided to go in and try to remove that road. And you can see here, it highlights the road as though it's removing it. I highlight the road, boom, but you see it doesn't have the X's on it? Yeah. Oh, and I think about getting chickens, and this is a good idea for me because it's another food source that I don't currently have. And so I'm going to pin the trader. As you can see, he doesn't take herbs. He just takes the perfume and the flowers. But I need an area to put the pasture, the chicken pen. And this area isn't quite big enough. It's just not big enough for it. You need a 7x7 minimum on these pastures. So, after fudging around and deciding whether or not I should flatten some terrain, I take a look to the... I don't want to go over by the mines. I'm trying to keep that area a little bit separate. I know I got the bison right there. So, hey, where else do we have housing? Right here. I've got a little storage barn right there. I could put in some housing over here. I could put the chicken coop right by the river. So this is where I get a little fancy. I decide to make it just big enough. I actually bring it down to the river's edge. I make it just big enough so that it fits right in there real nice. I don't have to wrap a road around this. I just have to make sure the chicken house is close to the road. And 14x7. There you go. Now that puppy will get built, and then I can put those chickens into it. Trader came in. Let's see what this other trader's got. Plum seeds. Now I take a quick look. I want to check to see what orchard seeds I currently have. And right here's my orchard. And I've got blackberry. So I think I'm going to get these plum seeds because, you know, a plum orchard would be nice. And I believe that plums are an orchard seed. So, and I scroll down and you can see they don't take the ale, the wine, or the beer, but they do take the other items. So, this is where I decide whether or not I want to spend these other items. So that'll give me 600 there. And then I get 500 from the bricks. That's 1,100. I know I need to get the 2,500. So the idea here is to try not to use everything up. This is going to give me 300, so that'll be 1,400. Or, excuse me, 1,500. There you go. Oh, yeah, it's 5 times 8 is 40. 400. Okay, and then I need 1,000 more. Ooh, I got nomads. This is interesting because I do have a pretty good labor force right now. I have 18 laborers and I have 3 builders. I only got 2 build jobs going. So, yeah. So, I'm overpaying now. So, there we go. 2,500. I'm going to take the 1 plum seed. I'm going to trade it. And goodbye. So, now let's, did I notice the nomads? I didn't. I did, didn't I? Yeah. How many nomads do we got? 29! So, here's the important part. I've got not enough homes for the families I currently have. But guess what? You can always use the labor, especially when you know you're going to be expanding your industries. So, with that in mind, I decide that it's a good idea to take these nomads. Come on, go ahead. Click the button, you know you want to. There you go. So now I got the nomads. Go back to overview, shrink it down, move it over. And now I'm going to need a home for these nomads. Look at them go! They're all homeless. So, since I know I was behind on homes to begin with, I make sure that there's a doctor, because, you know, disease from nomads. Since I know I'm behind on the homes anywho, it's important for me to think about the idea of temporary housing, along with I gotta now plan a whole community to house these 29 individuals. So, making all of these corn. The nice thing about the greenhouses that I've seen so far, no crop infestations. So, there's nothing to worry about with an infestation and it jumping crops and wiping out your stuff. So, I've got plenty of stone at this point. So, I'm stoning these roads up for sure. So, bring it across the back. And let's take a look. Do I want to bring it down the side? I know that I do. Okay. So, that's where I point out that there's that mysterious road that's in between there, and I don't know why it's there. I put the road coming out to there, and up there, and boom. And so I actually decide not to run the stone road up the side of the greenhouses. But the nice thing is about tucking them together like that, they look like one long continuous greenhouse. So I am clearing the trees out from in between them at the moment. I'm hoping that other trees replant. I'd really like to see birches kind of pop up in there, but we shall see. All right, so how's this pasture going? All right, they got it cleared anyhow, which is good, you know. There's my house for the fuel maker. Looks really good sitting there on the little peninsula. I love the deck. 180-degree views of the water. Very nice, very nice. And they already made a baby, which is good. So I'm going to up the fuel limit to 1,500 because I've got a lot of industries that are using the fuel, as well as I know I'm going to be building more homes. So, and look at the houses here. Pasture's ready. Very good. So, I haven't bought the chickens yet, so I can wait on that. I'm doing stone roads out in front of the houses, stone sidewalks. And then I decide I want to put dirt. Oh, wait a minute. You can't overlay dirt on stone. You can only overlay stone on dirt. You can only overlay the next tier of road up. You can't downgrade the roads by tracing over them with the lower grade road. But look at them. Look at them. And they already got babies growing. Babies. They haven't even been in there that long. They've been knocking boots for the whole time. So you can see some of the laborers or the homeless people. I decide I could probably stand to have a house or two more. Come in here and pick wooden house. And I'll take this first story. I could do this one here, yeah. And it fits. Go over one. Go over to the left one. There you go. Fits perfectly right there. And this one I only make 2 off of the road because of the stream in behind. I don't want it sitting right on the stream's edge, because I think that'll look awkward. And then I try to decide whether or not I can squeeze a house in over here. But I can fit one there. And back them off one. And one more. And look at that. Boom. So I've got 2 more homes going in over there. And there's the disease I was talking about. Yellow fever. You knew it was going to happen. I don't recall in this playthrough whether I've had a lot of nomads. But this is the first time, if I had nomads before, this is the first time I took the nomads where I had disease. So, there's that. Alright, so now we got this area started. And now the idea is, what are we going to do with the rest of the area? So, I know I want to get medical over in this area. Mainly because of the distance between this hospital and the hospital in the town hall district. So, yeah, I think I will. I wish that there was a toggle for the roof color, and I could have had it in dark brown, like the roofs of the homes there thus far. But it is a unique building, and it will match the glassmaker. So, not a big deal. Now it's deciding where to place it. And this should be relatively easy. I'm going to line it up with the road. There we go. I'm going to place the road because it's so much easier to do it that way. I'm going to drag the road out. I believe I bring it out 27 because I started 2 in. So it's a 25 long road from the existing crossroad. I'm going to come back in here. I'm going to grab that medical building, the clinic. I'm going to give this guy some backyard space. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Yep. Right there. Good spot. Look at all that it needs. I like the fact that they require herbs and glassware, so you can have your medicine bottles and your medicine to open the clinic. Good touch. Good touch, Red. And then, of course, I'm going to need some spirituality over here. Since the other churches, I believe, are full or close to full, but this will give them community over here if they decide to go in for comfort or solace. And just place it right across the street from the clinic. Nice job. All right, so I got my build queue up. I'm going to need to put in a couple more builders, that's for sure. All right, let's come back over here. Let's check this trader. We want to get the chickens because the pasture's done. So can I take all 8? That's the key. 3,200. Well, I can with perfume alone. So there we go. 3120, 3240. I need to minus a couple from here. And so I was going to try to use the flowers to make up the difference, but I said, you know what? I don't want to use that many flowers. And then I end up using all the flowers. My thought process was I wanted to use about 25 of the flowers, and then I realized I'm not going to get to an odd number using the 6s. But chickens are in. They're going to head over. Nice job. But I'm going to need somebody living over here to work it. And since that's a barn, I'm going to need to put in a farmhouse. And I decide that I like the idea of using a brick house. I had it in my mind as soon as I was laying the pasture down that I wanted an old red brick farmhouse. And here's why. Growing up in Pennsylvania, a lot of the houses that I remember, even the ones that are out in the country, were red brick. They were red brick houses. And I was like very fond of them growing up. And every time we'd go home to Pennsylvania from where we were living for family vacations, I remember those red brick homes. So there you go. I put in a red brick house, red brick farmhouse. So fuel just keeps maxing out. There's not much I can do about it, but they'll use it up for the industries. Yeah, you see the central church is full. So it is a good idea to have that second church go in. All right, now there's the first multi-story there. And people with a couple of grown children move in. Those are the nomads. The nomads came in with fully fleshed out families, but they're young enough where they might have one more child, maybe even 2, which is great because the houses that I built, you can have a family up to 5, and by the time the 3rd child they have is born, one of the older children can move out. It'll work out. It'll work out. I should at some point too check my education level, but this is where I figure out I want to lay down the boarding house, but the imaginary road, the non-existing road, is still there. But when I go to remove roads again, you'll see that some of it's actually disappeared. See, just that one square is left there, and it doesn't show it there at all. So I know this happened ages ago in like Mega Mod 6, and it couldn't be removed. I mean, Vapor ran into the problem. A lot of people. So I don't know what has done it, but removing the roads not going to work, and there it doesn't even show up there anymore. So I have no idea. So I'm just going to have to. I can't place a building there, so I'm going to have to leave that area barren. But I come down here and I take a look and I go, you know, it'd be really cool. I'm going to put the boarding house at the end of the road, so it'll almost look like a manor house. I decide I want to center it. And I was going to try to make it centered between the 2 roads coming up, and it just didn't quite work out. So I decide to scooch it over a bit and plop it in at the very end of the road. Check the time left on the video here. This one runs a little bit. So there's the boarding house. I placed that down. We know we're going to have the housing for the rest of the nomads. I know I'm going to have to work on the regular community housing. But there are a couple of things I want to consider. I'm doing the new industrial area. I'm going to be taking some industry out of the downtown area. And I'm going to be putting housing in the downtown area. So And I also want to put some more housing in over next to the mines. So let's take a quick look here. I've got these style homes as well. I've got these. These are the ones I generally use that I really, really like. And then we got the businesses. Now these businesses are pretty sweet looking. I got a shoemaker. I got a couple businesses here that I'm going to use to flesh out the downtown area here. And I use these corner ones, and boy, do they look good. And by using the brick ones like this, or not the brick ones, by using the wood ones like this, the corner ones, they blend in with the housing and some of the other businesses in the area. So there's a shoemaker, and the pottery maker I believe is going to need like furnace fuel and clay. So it's nice to have that. So I make use of the area that I can here because that road won't allow me to place anything in there. So it is what it is. See? Can't place it. Will not let me place it. If only I could get rid of that road. I think I try to flatten it here. Yeah, and see, it won't even let me flatten because of the imaginary road. So I'm just very much stuck with not being able to place anything in there. So I'm going to try this. I'm going to place this road down over it. I'm going to let them build this road, all these roads, and then I'm going to come back in and remove all the roads and see if that removes the road issue. There's my clinic. Good to go. Put one person in there. Because we still got 3 sick people. I mean, it's kind of weird, actually. After all this time, I still got 3 people with yellow fever. And nobody's died of yellow fever that I think. I'd have to go back and watch this again and see if it popped up in the event log. But I didn't see any notification of somebody dying from yellow fever. It is what it is. There we go. And we got this house over here. Very nice. This house sits right on the river like the woodcutter's house does. It looks really sharp. So I noticed that the glassmaker's out of material, but it's not sand and it's not clay, so it's the fuel. It's the fuel they haven't gotten yet. Oh, no, wait a minute. Sand is down to 14. Holy shnikes. Time to put some more people work in the industry. Materials limit. Let's change that. Because they might be stopping working, and that's why they're not producing more. And I put more clay in as well. It makes sense. All right. So we've got about 7 minutes left of the video here. So I get the wood church going in. Really nice design. Matches the housing in the area. Looks really good. Put a nice double road going up the front doors. And I'll put a cemetery in behind. Because I really don't have a place for the dead. I believe I have 1 cemetery in town. Don't quote me on that. I'd have to actually look at the town. But yeah, let's see. Stockpiles. What do we got? I'm just going to put in a general one right there. So we can get miscellaneous items placed there as well. And I'm going to throw a general one in over here. I want the area to look full and complete. And look at the textiles. Look at the bricks that have been made. The brickmaker is just filling that area. That would lead me to believe, too, that the coverage stockpile I have is full. See that rock out in front of the church? I was thinking that that it was like a mysterious rock that can't be removed. I forgot that I slated to put the road there, so it's already slated to come out. It is what it is. Yeah. Take out a couple of trees. Take out some food. There you go. We're good. And I'm going to take out the trees from there. Very good. And what you got for me, trader man? What you got for me? Figs and red Frisian cows. That's it. I've got regular Frisian cows. Yeah, those are regular Frisians. So, no thank you. Couldn't have fit them in there if I wanted to anyhow, but I just wanted to double check. I had never actually seen red Frisian pop up in the trader before that I recall, so it kind of caught me off guard as to what a red Frisian cow was. So here's my industrial area. You can see the houses are all in. They got the fencing up and such. One set of the housing is offset from all the rest of the housing, and that's slightly annoying. But let's up the builders so we can get the builders building the buildings and the roads. But look at it. It looks so pretty. I'm going to check the time here again. Okay, we're down to 4.5 minutes. I'm narrating over the playback because I could have just done a time lapse, thrown some music on it, said we're done. But I really wanted to talk you through the thought process of what it was that I was doing. Also, I know that I'm going to be extending these roads out, so I come in here to the flattening tool, and I'm just going to flatten just what's needed to get the road in place. I'm going to leave that hill there. I'm not going to flatten it. I'm going to build around it. And we're going to make sure we come out. I want to go past the end of the furthest hump. Come across. Yeah, we're just going to take a little bit of that hump out. And I'm going to come down here, and I think I got lucky and actually lined it up perfect. Look at that, like it was meant to be. And that way I can get the roads around it, and then I can put in the housing. And we might even name that mountain something like Mount Ketchup. There you go, Mount Ketchup. That's a thing. We're smoking meats. I know we're smoking meats, and it's working really good for food wise. And I think I'd like to put in another smokery in the area. But I'm thinking I'm going to put the smoker over by the cattle, since that's mostly what we're smoking. They're bringing the meat a long way to get over there to smoke it. So, yep, and I decide here too, time to put the stone in the market, baby. Market needs to be stoned. And it'll dress it up. It'll make it look a little more modern than what I currently have it. We're past the days of the dirt floor market. I'm just saying. Come down this way. I'm gonna come down this way. Yep, right to there. I'm gonna bring that over there. Put the road in there. Put the road in there. I decide to road. I think I decide to road in behind some of these. A couple of these. Yeah. I'm going to do the road there because it looks weird having the dirt road right next to it. And then I put a road in over here as well. But, yeah, I checked the center areas for some of these. Yeah, see how I can get the stone in there? I do it. I do it because I think it looks good. So this video is winding down. Yeah. Got everything going here. Listen, here's the deal. If you like what you're watching, hit that like and subscribe button down below. Tell your family, tell your friends. If you have any suggestions as to what you'd like to see me do here in Red River Valley, put them in the comments below because I do read them. And with that, I will catch you next Wednesday for another episode of Banished with Red Ketchup's Editor's Choice mod. Peace.
That was a failure of epic proportions. Unacceptable.